Thank you all for tuning in for tonight's iSCAR DeNise Design Series for the Max Speed TV event live here at Martinsville Speedway. About to duke it out for 200 laps at the paperclip for tonight. And man, we got a good race on tap for this one. My name is Ezeckiel Reyes.
And I'm Dewey Schramm, the last race of the New Year's weekend here to begin 2021. The end of 2020, beginning of 2021. Super Lates will officially be the fourth and final series to debut here in this year. But in terms of the main three, we'll see what we've got going here for tonight for 200 laps here at the affectionately known paperclip. We've already had two different races here between the ARCA cars and the trucks, and I believe the Cup cars actually showed up here as well. So this is the fourth and final series to come here at Martinsville, so I'm sure guys that raced in at least one or two of those prior races should definitely have a bit of an advantage coming into tonight. And as you look at the points, only 2 points separating Hunter Johnson and Casey Drake for that final chase spot.
Yeah, that's right. For that number 12, Hunter Johnson, he needs a good night on his hands. He currently sits P8 in practice as of right now, but that number 12 has had a nice recovery through the Xfinity Series, and here he is sitting 13th as of right now. We'll have to duke it out. Casey Drake, Joe Berge, Charlie Byer, Cody Webster. A lot of drivers within that bubble. I think this is actually the closest battle within a bubble of our three chases that we're going to have here. But we got to also mention the Aaron Mulrooney situation, as he's now banned from the league. So if you don't count him, he's
That's right.
I'll put Casey Drake in.
Yeah, and that's still only an 8-point gap between Casey Drake and Joe Berge. And you look all the way down to 20th place Garrett Hess. You know, only 25 points between Casey and Garrett, and with a full 43 cars plus in the session tonight. I mean, depending on how the cookie crumbles, Garrett could, mathematically jump from 20th to, 13th just tonight. Will it happen? Who knows? But that goes to show you how critical it is to get it as best or as good of a finish as you possibly can. Because with all those people right there in contention, you cannot afford a bad night.
Yeah, especially at a night like Martinsville, in which keeping yourself out of trouble is going to be key here for tonight. So we're gonna have to hand pluck on who's going to be the survivalist here for this one as we pull up standings here on the left hand side of the screen. Obviously those times are butchered toward that top five, but I'm pretty sure Christopher Wilde, Brandon Wilkinson, Omar Diallo, the fastest people on the racetrack as of right now. And if you look at the paint schemes, it is throwback night here for this one. So we look around, see some interesting paint schemes being flung through the racetrack. You see the number 77 of Liam Sheen sporting, looks like a is that an Austin Dillon throwback?
I believe so, since it's on a Chevy versus a Toyota. I like the attention to detail inside the circle logo, though. Instead of it being Ream, they got the right font and everything. Those are the schemes I like the most, where even the minor details, such as the right font for an original logo. This is a cool one that Christopher Wilde is running. It's an old Cartoon Network scheme from the 90s. There's Omar Diallo running an old Bobby Labonte scheme. And this is the fourth and final weekend. That's Hunter Johnson running Justin Allgaier's old car. But the fourth and final day of the throwback, so of one more throwback prize to be handed out. And like I said last night, this is one of my favorite parts of weekends like this, is seeing what people come up with for schemes and different designs and such. And we see more of it here tonight.
Well, Williams, we've seen him run that throwback. I think this is Jeff Gordon's paint scheme. Or
it is.
Yeah, that's when he ran the
Jurassic
All-Star race.
Park.
Actually won that All-Star race, I think. That's Carson Poindexter, 83 Joe Berge, looks like with Garrett Hess in the 777. 44 Tyler Connors, sporting a throwback as well. And that is fantastic. I love it.
That's like Morgan Shepherd, but taken to a whole nother level. Looks like a backup car being trotted out there for Bridger Olson. Checkered flag here in practice. We will scoot ourselves off to the side momentarily before we go to qualifying. So rise up, remove your hats as we salute our nation's colors.
And we welcome everybody back here live for the iSCAR DeNise Design Series. Round number 10, good to go green here just momentarily. Currently qualifying underway to decide the top 38 spots on who gets themselves secure in for tonight's event. Currently holding the top spot, no surprise, at number 1 of Omar Diallo, who won the Cup race at Charlotte yesterday. He currently holds the top spot. Not by much, though.
Waits had a pretty solid season. Christopher Wilde near the top of the points in every series imaginable. And William Schmidt, good qualifying run so far, but we'll see if all of those times stick over the last 2 minutes and change here.
Yep, that is right. And still a lot of people yet to qualify. Zach Corbett, and Hunter Johnson, Joe Berge, Max Yerk yet to log in at least one lap. You see Peter Kenny in number 19 going across the start-finish line. David Bachman, he too getting some time in. Grayson Collins here in number 5.
We got a tie for 5th right now between Cole Williams and William Schmidt. That's pretty difficult to do, to get an identical lap time to somebody else. But the two of them, for the time being, tied on the charts. Brody Gardner has won here at Martinsville this season, picked up the Truck Series win here around a month or so ago. Actually won the ARCA race here as well. He won both of them. So that 55 definitely knows his way around this track. Currently sitting 8th on the charts. So that should be more than enough to get himself into the race. And if you look towards the bottom of the ticker, there are more than 43 people here in the session tonight, which means that even though it's Martinsville, we're going to have an LCQ here for tonight, which will certainly be interesting in a track like Martinsville.
Yeah, that's right. And looks like the 7 to Charlie Byer is going to work himself through to get himself in. See what he hits here on his lap time. He works to the front straightaway. 420 on this lap right now. Of course, warm up.
Absolutely blazing speed there for that lap.
Yeah.
Pun may or may not be intended, but makes his way here into turn 3. Charlie had a great run going at Charlotte last night, but unfortunately got into a spin late in the race and ended up alt F4ing, so he didn't hit anybody else, and that cost him a good spot or good finishing position. We'll see where he ends up. Looks like 26th, but with only 5 seconds left. That will get him into the race, but that's going to do it for qualifying. Congratulations to last night's winner, Omar Diallo, on picking up the pole here for tonight. So that one car has been on an absolute roll lately. But before we get ourselves into the main event, we'll get you the starting lineup for our 8-lap LCQ.
And this is an interesting one because we have some really, really big names in for this LCQ. Grayson Collins and Henry Clappert round out row number 1.
Kilo Hankins in the 808, I believe the highest numbered car in the field, 3rd, and Jeremiah Bethune in 4th.
Row number 3 going to be Peter Kenny, and there is that number 12, Hunter Johnson. We talked about how he was on the bubble. He currently sits in 6th.
A lap. Hunter must not have taken a lap then. Here's Nick Miller in 7th, won the pole for last night's race, and Zach Corbett in the 102.
Jay Mulder, Max Yerk going to round out the top 10, and Benjamin A. White all the way back in 11th. But yeah, for that number 95 and Nick Miller, another big name in this inside this LCQ. So hopefully he makes himself in, as well as that number 12, Hunter Johnson.
So this will be 11 cars for the last 5 grid spots. So 6 people in this LCQ will not be advancing on to our 200-lap main event tonight. So hopefully for everybody in this field, they can get themselves in. But Nick Miller specifically and Hunter, they're both in the chase. Hunter currently 12th, excluding Aaron Mulrooney. but only 10 points of the clear on Joe Burgee. So for that 12, he needs to make it into this field to make sure he doesn't lose that much ground in the standings. And Nick Miller, 7th in points, bit more of a cushion than the 12 car has, but you still don't want to afford to lose any more points than you have to.
Yep, that is correct. And 808 Kiloa Hankins is starting on a mouse, of course, here for this one. Peter Kenny and Hunter Johnson is starting in 6th place, so he could easily make up one spot and get himself inside for tonight's event. He's gonna have to start all the way back in last, though.
I think we have a few people not gridding up here. I don't think Benjamin gridded up, and I think one other person.
Yeah, Jay Mulder nor Nick Miller are in the grid.
Wow, so guess that's gonna definitely hurt Nick in the points if he doesn't grid up and try to get in there. But before we go green, I just want to take a look at Max Urich's paint scheme just briefly, as this might be one of the greatest
fantastic
paints that we've ever seen here. As this is the Peter Griffin mobile, complete with the belt and everything. I mean, that's some attention to detail for Max Urich. And we'll see if he can get that Family Guy machine into tonight's field. As we get the one to go here for the LCQ. Another reminder that the top 5 here will advance, and we'll start 39th rather, through 43rd in tonight's event. And we'll have a couple people unfortunately going home, but we'll have to see who those people will be.
Yeah, that's right. Top 5 secure themselves on in for tonight's event. Brayson Collins, Henry Clapper, Kiloa Hankins, Jeremiah Bethune, and Peter Kenny round out the top 5. We'll see if they could secure themselves in, as that number 5 of Collins works himself through 3 and 4. He'll hit the throttle now, and up and away we go. Already a spin as Jeremiah goes around.
Well, that's going to certainly take him out of contention, and he didn't even make the green flag and already went around. That stacked up the high side as well. And speaking of the high side, Henry Clapper went super high through that turn, and that's going to cost him some spots, as Kiloa Hankins in the 808 on that mouse already up into 2nd place.
Hunter Johnson works himself down low with Peter Kenny, and here comes Clapper for that position. He holds the final spot in as of right now. Hunter rams Kiloa up the racetrack, bump and run for 2nd place. Hunter to the 2nd. I don't think Kiloa is going to be happy about that as they stack up right behind. What is the 102? Is that Corbett going to do to get himself inside this top 5?
Bit of damage to the front end of Hunter Johnson's car as a result of that tap. And now Urich's challenging Corbett right now for 6th, but neither of those cars currently in the show, as Hunter now again up into 2nd place. Looks like Hankins is now going to lose 4th, as Collins has an issue or something out of turn 2, and that's going to allow Hunter to take the lead away, and Peter's going to get 2nd. So all 7 of these guys all still under a blanket. So this is still anybody's game in terms of who's going to get in.
Kiloa trying to pinch down. Oh, he gets turned!
Oh, no, there he goes.
And Corbett.
And here comes Urich to take 5th place. Urich is now in. Peter gets the wall out of turn 2, and Hunter Johnson's gone. Here comes Clapper, and Urich gives Collins the boot there into 3, but that's going to open the door for Clapper maybe out of turn 4. They're still jostling for positions here.
Brayson's fairly slow. He clips Peter!
Oh, and there goes Peter! And he's going to take out Corbett as well. They both spin. Peter gets it going, so Peter's still in 5th place, with Hankins already further back.
Urich overshoots the corner!
He way overshot the corner, and Urich is actually in 2nd place after starting this LCQ in 10th. So this has been quite the LCQ as he holds on for that position, but he's having a tough time maneuvering those corners. I think there's some tire smoke there as he rolls through the corner. Collins still in 3rd after starting the LCQ in the lead. So those 2 of Collins and Clapper, they're a bit racy, but for right now, the 2 of them are still in, and Peter behind them is in as well. So there's no risk of losing these positions as long as you just keep it clean right now.
Man, that was a bit messy. But for Hunter Johnson and that number 12 machine, a white flag this time by as Jeremiah Bethune spins it off the corner.
Yeah, Johnson started in 6th. You see that damage after the bump to the 808 of Kiloa Hankins, but I believe this might be the first time Hunter's ever been in the LCQ, but no money, no problems, I guess, for Hunter Johnson. Now to turn 4, he will win the LCQ in advance. Max Urich will indeed get the Peter Griffin machine into the field and will finish 2nd. Then there's Henry Clapper, Peter Kenny, and Brayson Collins will be the 5 cars to advance Hankins, Bethune, Miller, Mulder, and White looks like we'll be going home tonight. So that's going to be a big hit for Miller in the points tonight.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Zach Corbett. For him to not make the field, that is big for that whole entire team. Of course, recently, I'm echoing just a bit, recently reformed team. It's going to be unfortunate
He did a good job to make it. Yeah, Peter got the boot from someone, and then when Peter spun down the track, he had nowhere to go. But fortunately for Peter, he was able to get it straight, but Corbett definitely got the short end of that, and unfortunately for him, that'll cost him a spot in tonight's field. As we get our little warm-up session going, we'll go over race analytics here on the bottom left of your screen. Half-mile length here in Martinsville, give or take a couple tenths of a mile. Noon setting for the session today, so it should be a fairly warm-ish track, I guess. Pit road speed, 35 miles per hour. One of the trickier pit roads to maneuver. It would not shock me at all if we see a good amount of pit road speeding penalties. 4 tire sets for these next 200 laps, and an 85 to 90 lap fuel window. So from that, we should have about a 2-stop race.
4 sets for 200 laps. That is going to be very, very interesting. That's probably less of a set than I thought we would have here for the for this race. So for everybody in for tonight's event, they got to be strategic on when they want to hit pit road, and especially at a track like Martinsville, in which track position is just so key around this racetrack. I'm just interested to see on who's going to be that person to take the bait on the pit road.
Yeah, and you have to consider that a lap around Martinsville typically takes, depending on which car you're in, between around 19 to 21 seconds. And with a 35 mile per hour pit road speed limit, it's probably going to be maybe 15 or 20 seconds to get onto pit road into your stall, and another 15 or 20 to get off of pit road, and then, of course, the 15 or 20 to actually, service your car. So you're talking maybe, 45, 50 seconds spent on pit road. If you have to make a green flag pit stop for any reason, you could potentially lose up to 3 laps just by making a regular stop. So you're definitely going to want to strategize that as best as possible, and, of course, keep your car clean so that you don't end up having to do that at any point.
Yeah, that's right, and it all matters about how the cautions will play out to everybody else's favor. So if the caution comes out a bit earlier or later than anticipated, who knows who's gonna split the strategy and take their way on the pit road, and as well as a two-tire call may be the way around here. We saw it at Iowa, where Dylan Basin went to victory lane. Well, he nearly lost it as he got passed by Brody Gardner nearly in 3 and 4, but that whole race, it was interesting by itself, but
that was the race where Spencer Burns thought he had the win, but a late race disqualification gave it, Brody, I think, got disqualified and successfully appealed it and was given the win back. But Spencer later went on to win at Talladega this past week, so I think that was pretty good retribution, I would suppose. I mean, kind of stinks to not win at Martinsville, but you end up winning at Talladega instead. Not a bad second gift there, I suppose.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's not the way you want to do Dega. I mean, not Dega, but Martinsville.
Yeah, let's hope that no one does that during the race. Oh my goodness.
We'll pull up points again on the situation of everybody. With Nick Miller not making tonight's field, this is going to be huge for him. He has 47 points potentially lost here for tonight, so that's going to be unfortunate for him, and as well as that whole entire crew. And you see other people of Hunter Johnson. He luckily made himself in.
Yeah, he'll be starting in 39th, though. He still has the work cut out for him to even get closer to the front of the field. And so Schmidt is in the field. I believe Frimpong is in the field. So with the two of them making the race, I think they'll probably pass Nick in points. I don't know if Kendrick and Harry are here, but that's, a 30-point gap. But I think Nick definitely is going to lose at least 7th place to Williams. So not the night he wanted to have, but of course he'll still, without a doubt, be in the chase after tonight. But he won't have as big of a cushion as he currently enjoys.
Yeah, that is right. Cole Williams, you see, and they're number 42. He led the Xfinity points for a while, but lost the point lead to now Josh Patterson.
I believe. And Patterson still has it. He's had quite a good, consistent season so far. And that'll end our little happy hour session. And that is a furious flag waving right there. That man is dedicated at his work. But starting lineup here for tonight's race at Martinsville, Omar Diallo, last night's winner, will roll off in the pole, and joining him on the front row, Blaze Brinkley in the 112.
Row number 2 going to consist of Dylan Basin of the 08, Christopher Weil, and that number 41 leads 3 out of the 4 series, or now 2 out of 3.
Row 3, Cole Williams in the 42, and William Schmidt in the 79. 2 chasers right now.
Liam Sheen in 7th place. Brody Gardner in the 55. He's a recent Martinsville winner. We'll see if he could go 2 in a row here.
Martinsville winner times 2. Trying to go 3 out of the 4 here between the different series. Rounding out your top 10, Mitch Hobbs in the 89, and Michael Rosero in the 23, who qualified 3rd last night before a mid-race incident took him out of contention.
Rest of the orders being shown on your screen. Harry Grindle there in the number 70. Mark Frimpong in the 53. Right behind outside of this top 10.
Here's Connor Brennan returning for another race here tonight after a great run last night was cut short by some internet issues. Brandon Wilkinson, good to see him back there in the 56. As this field continues to scroll down on the bottom, as Sartaj Mon there in the 49. Good to see Heater back. Here's Dominic. He's picked up a couple wins this season. And here we get the LCQ drivers of Hunter Johnson, Urich, Clappert, Kenny, and Shotgun on tonight's field. Brayson Collins in the 5.
Alright. Got one more pace lap around the racetrack until we go green for 200 laps. Race analytics going to be shown on the left-hand side of the screen. 35 miles per hour on pit road. Stages, none. 4 tire sets. It seems as though one less tire set than these drivers want to really strategize around with. Fuel window 85 to 90 here for the evening. So now just tuning in here for tonight. iSCAR DeNise Design Series Martinsville 200 about to go underway. Omar Diallo in that number 1 machine will lead it, coming to the initial green for tonight. Hopefully we don't have any self-spins like we had traditionally here at Martinsville, but the field works himself into 3 and 4. Omar Diallo in that number 1 will lead the field coming to the green. We're up and away here at Martinsville.
Green flag.
Another reminder, some drivers are going to have custom numbers enabled for tonight because of the throwback weekend, so some numbers on the ticker may not be the same as what appear on the car, so we'll help you navigate through that. As we got somebody already almost spinning in through the grass. I don't know who that was, but a close call there on lap 1. Still side by side for the lead, but Diallo with the advantage on the bottom will lead lap number 1.
Diallo got loose off of 4, and this will allow.
Got it.
Yeah, Brinkley will nose ahead at the start-finish line, and the man who did get who got sideways was the 89 of Mitch Hobbs, who was all the way on the grass, but luckily they keep it straight, so we keep ourselves green on lap number 2 as they're still side by side up front.
Oh, contact there around 7th place between, I think, Schmidt and Rosero. Oh no, that was not Schmidt, that was Rosero and Harry Grindle. And I noticed a couple people coming off of pit road as leaders went by, so a few people did pit start, but unfortunately they'll go a lap down. But at least one of them will get their laps back here as the caution has come out for the first time tonight. And it looks like that is the 84 of David Bachman in some trouble here in turn 1.
Yeah, spun in looks like turns number 1 and 2 brings out our first of probably many cautions we'll have here for the evening. We'll get a replay on what happened as he worked himself through the corner. Ooh.
Oh, just lost it.
Yeah, lost it and spun to the inside.
And no one else hits him, thankfully, so just a single car incident here to start the night off.
That's Connor. That's Connor Brandon, so he's calling it a day by the looks of it.
Either that or just some hardware issue. I don't know what that was, but that was interesting. So that will result in a last place finish, unfortunately, for Connor after Again, a great night that he had last night. Ran top 5 almost all night at Charlotte before falling through around the midway point. So it looks like he won't be able to improve on that. So again, first caution so far. Diallo has led every lap up to this point. So Brinkley officially in the 112, but he's that 98 on the high side. It's one of those where the custom number is different than the one on the ticker. Free pass is going to go to that silver Coors Light machine. Not sure who that is, but I believe one of those that pit started.
Noah Allison.
Yeah, looks like, look at that. 8-9 people already lapped down, so there were quite a few people that decided to pit start, and a lot of them are now going to be trapped a lap down for probably a good portion of the race until, we start to see some pit stops. If we end up seeing a rash of cautions over and over and over again, it will probably be much longer before guys actually start to pit. But I don't know how much of a benefit pit road starting at a track this small is actually going to have.
Yeah, typically on short tracks, you don't want to pit start. I would pit start on 1.5 milers in which you don't have, you won't start a lap down and, of course, be stuck in a hole for the next 50 laps. But once you see people take on tires and such like that for their first stops, all those drivers who stayed out will be probably lap down machines to take the wave around. So we'll just have to see on how it'll all go with their first half of the race, because this first half of the race is definitely going to be about survival.
Yeah, kind of like what the race at Charlotte was last night. You want to keep your nose clean at least for the first half, and then once guys start to either slowly retire from the race or have different issues, then you can maybe start to be a bit more aggressive. But this is one of those races where it might be a while here tonight, and this is one where you certainly don't want to end up having to ride around with a bunch of damage for a lot of the race either, because that can get really frustrating really quick.
Yep, that is right. Weather in the bottom right, currently 98 on the track as of right now, so it's pretty slick for all these drivers. And their tires. Pace car scoots itself down on the pit road. We're going to hit the green this time by Omar Diallo, and Blaze Brinkley will lead it to the restart.
Green flag, green flag.
And off they go here. Green flag back out. Good start there by Brinkley up high. And I believe he will take over the race lead into turn number 1. But Diallo puts up a good fight on the bottom and still makes it interesting. But Brinkley will indeed clear out of 2. And Liam Sheen will now file himself into 3rd place.
Sheen worked himself to the bottom, stacked the inside a bit. Dylan and Brody just about ran over each other into 3 and 4, but luckily they keep it going. They go side by side for this 5th spot, but looks like Christopher Wilde, that number 41, starting to lose some ground. Michael Rosero in the meantime.
Oh! Contact between teammates there, Wilde and Gardner. Bit of a door bang out of turn 2, but looks like no harm, no foul to either of them, as Brody will take over that spot, and Chris will file in right behind. Almost 3 wide there out of turn 4. Around looks like 10th or 12th place there that they get it situated, as Rosero gets a bit of a bump up the hill.
That number 70 of Harry Grindle locked up the tires really, really hard, and he nearly got into the 41, Christopher Wilde, but look, he's still smoking up that left front tire as, Garrett Hess in the background is sideways as cars hit the wall in evasive maneuvers. Up front, though.
I've seen a couple people lock up already. I saw Yurik do it a few times in the LCQ. Maybe a few people a bit too tight right now, but hopefully they can try to somehow get that squared away. Here's a nice battle going on. Looks like Schmidt, Granada, Dominic Cow, Heater, and that pink car on the high side. Good blanket of cars there as they make their way into 1. That's Sartaj Mon on the 49, the other one of those in that mix. And now Blaze Brinkley's opened up, it looks like 0.8 of a second lead, as there's some contact there in the background.
Rosero knows into the low side of Grindle, so Grindle's going to lose another spot as we have a caution toward the back.
2 of them.
Oh, that's Hunter Johnson.
Hunter Johnson and I believe Patrick Moosh in the 46, the other one of those in some trouble. And that's there's a red car that's stuck behind Hunter, and now he gets going. That's Poindexter in the 21.
Oh, and those are the leaders. So Hunter is trapped in a weird spot. Oh
my!
Yeah, that's not what you want to do.
That is a that is a pretty tricky spot to get stuck in. Hunter's going to try to find a way to get going quick before he maybe goes 2 laps down here. But while he gets himself situated, we're going to look and see what put these two in some trouble. So Hunter and Patrick, they're relatively close. Or oh no, I think something may have happened in front of them with a stack up. It looks like Hunter just got into that 46 and lost his own on the curbs there out of 4. Somebody locked him up further up, and I think they may have stacked some people up there.
Hunter hit the curbs trying to get it going, and unfortunately he spun out. But yeah, you see the big stack up right there. I'm not sure if that sort of made a reaction out of that number 46 or 12, but don't really know who smoked the tires in that corner.
May have been blinking, perhaps. I'm not really sure, but it could have been another tire lockup, though. Yeah.
Oh, the 86.
Dominic. Yeah, there it is.
I won't necessarily say that's much of a stack up, but just 2 people going for 1 spot down to the inside, and unfortunately they make contact. And for that number 12, Hunter Johnson trapped a lap down, and similar like what we saw in the Charlotte race just yesterday.
I think the 46 may have potentially come down a bit too, but typical short track stuff where it's a bit difficult to really judge who may have been the culprit. But regardless, I'm sure at least one of them left to pit for tires anyway, given that, of course, they did just go for a spin. But Hunter's going to lose a lap anyway because he ended up sitting on the bottom for so long. And we'll see where he ends up scored now. He started 39th, but had got himself a bit further up in the field. And looks like he's now shown back in 40th.
Aaron Brown going to take the wave around.
Looks like Hunter and Brayson Collins will... I think they might be making their way out of the pit lane now since they started so far back. They're 2 of the first pit stalls on pit road. Something happened to Diallo. I don't know if he pit or if he just left, but he's no longer in second place. I don't know where he is.
He did pit.
That's interesting.
Or no, he's working himself through the field now. I don't know if he stopped on the track to maybe situate himself with a couple of hardware or a personal issue, but one's just slowly plucking off spots now, getting himself back to the front.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to retain his spot, though.
Yeah, he did actually hit pit road, so 3 laps ago, that number 1 was on pit road.
So looks like he'll be 26th now, so that'll push Liam Sheen into second place, and it looks like Blaze Brinkley has elected the outside lane here for the second restart of the night, so he'll lead us back to the green, and Sheen, Basin, Gardner, and Weil will round out your top 5.
I don't think Blaze has really ran any iSCAR race. He's usually a part-time driver, I guess we could count him as. And he's doing a nice job, that 112 is, as he works himself through 3 and 4, taking a wide arc through 3 and 4 to get a straighter exit off, and it works to his advantage as Liam Sheen cannot get going. Dead sideways off the corner. He might lose a spot to Dylan Basin.
Bit of a Tokyo drift there, and he almost spins it there. Basin goes up the hill. A lot of people go up the hill. 3 wide for second out of turn 2 as Brody tries to thread the needle, and he might get it here into turn 3. More contact with Liam Sheen. As he goes up the hill again, he's going to continue to drop through this field. But they're still not done banging yet. Rosero almost spins it. They're all over the place here, still into turn 1.
Harry is sort of stuck in the middle, 3 wide. The 77 of Liam pinched down a ton, and this looks like I-4 traffic in Florida as drivers dart left and right to get themselves out of harm's way.
And
Basin.
Contact. Gardner and Basin still side by side for second. That's all Brinkley wants to see, as he's pulled away by almost 2 seconds now. And that 21 is actually the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson, who's now made his way up into 4th. So that 56/21 might be one of those to watch here as this race goes on here.
Whoa. Lots of drivers pinching out as Liam Sheen is still falling like a rock now outside of this top 5 in 7th place. 2x2 right behind between 86, 79, 49, and 777. Garrett has Sertaj Mon, William Schmidt, Dominic Howe all around this area outside of this top 10 or in it as they work into 3.
2x2 at Martinsville. Not something I necessarily expected to see. Was almost what looks like pack racing here at Martinsville, but Side by side here, this is for 5th place. Rosero takes a look underneath Weil, and he's going to pick up that spot. Bit of a door bang there between Wilkinson and Garner. This is for 3rd, as Basin got clear of his teammate there in the 55, and looks like out of 4, I think the 56 is going to get this spot.
Brody is not letting go of that. Oh!
Oh,
Yeah, that
more
was a door right
contact.
there, and Brody is
Here
going
comes
to pay the
Rosero.
price.
And here comes Rosero trying to take 4th away from Brody. But I don't think he got good enough of a run.
Oh!
Brody's going to give a bit of a retaliatory tap there to the 56. I don't think Brody appreciated that door bang very much. But Brandon will keep the spot for now. But that 55 definitely not too pleased with how he was just raced.
That's short track racing at its finest, and Brody, in my opinion, was a slower car off of that exchange, and Wilkinson had to move him out of the way to get forward, but Brody shot him in the back and gave him a bit of damage, but luckily for that, the 56 is now pulling away from that 55.
Oh, wow,
Wall's in the wall.
Well, you see that contact there also gave Brody some front-end damage, and you see some front-end damage to Weil as well, as Harry overshoots turn 1. So these cars are going to be really beat up by the time this race is over, and we're only 27 laps in, and there's already some pretty considerable damage to quite a few cars in the field.
All right, man.
Caution's out.
Caution is out.
Caution number 3 here on lap 28. And we'll take a look and see what has brought it out. But that'll erase the 1.5 second lead that Braze Brinkley had built up here on the screen run.
Oh, right in front of these people, Joe Berge. Kept it going, though.
Is that the caution?
Oh, looks like a bit of
What
smoke.
was it?
Oh.
Well-
Oh, no, that's when they started checking out for the caution. Not really sure where it was. Get a wider shot of it. See what happened.
I don't see anything that would have brought a caution out.
Yeah, me neither. Interesting.
Huh. Well, regardless of what it was for, we're still under yellow flag conditions once again. So Blaze Brinkley's 1.5 second lead no longer. And he'll have a new challenger on the restart in Dylan Basin. But yeah, that contact between Gardner and Wilkinson was certainly interesting in the way that transpired. But speaking of Wilkinson, looks like he has hit pit road for the first time tonight. So that's going to drop him, at least for the time being, out of the top 30.
Yeah, Wilkinson also taking some damage repair. Gets himself in and out. For Brody Gardner in that 55, incident trouble. He gave him, I mean, 14, not 14, but 12x already.
Ooh.
For that number 55,
laps in.
and 31 laps in. And as well as the 56, who also has just about the same amount of incidents that Brody has. So, do the math. They're giving each other 4x's and destroying their own races. And we still have yet to cross the halfway point. These two drivers need to keep it safe, or else they're going to be in big, big trouble. Especially with that 55 of Brody Gardner.
Yeah, we're not even a fourth of the way through this race yet, and they're on pace to be disqualified by lap 60. So, if that's the case, it's going to be a pretty early shower for both of them. But that's what I was talking about in the pre-race. At a track like this, you really want to try to keep your nose clean, especially in the first half of the race, because for all you know, if you end up in a position where you may be second or third with only a handful of laps to go, and you want to maybe pull a bump and run on someone to maybe take a win away, you can't do that if you're sitting on an 18X. Because if you do that and you give yourself a 4X, boom, you get disqualified, and you're not finishing anywhere near second or third. And that's not even just for that in particular, but of course the late race caution could put you over that incident limit as well. So for Brody and Wilkinson, that's going to really hamper how they run the rest of their races.
Caution was for Mark Frimpong. Looks like he had a computer issue, and he spun as an invisible car, so nobody could really see him on the racetrack. So that was the reason the caution was brought out.
Well, that would explain why we could not see it. And looks like Patrick Moosh in the 46 was already at a 14X. And of course, he had that contact earlier with Hunter, and looks like he may have gotten hit somewhere under caution, so he's called it a night. So another car out of the running, but the pace lights are off. So Blaze Brinkley, Dylan Basin, Brody Gardner, Michael Rosero, and Liam Sheen will lead us back to the green.
Blaze pushes up the racetrack to stall out the 08 of Dylan Basin, but they work themselves to the front. Green flag is out.
Green flag,
And up and
green
away we
flag.
go as they work themselves into turn number 1 and 2. Blaze pulls by 3 car lengths as they fight for second spot. Garner to the inside of Dylan Basin.
Teammate battle here with the 55 and the 08 out of turn 2. Rosero files into 4th, but side-by-side right behind him for 5th with Weil, who's going to really send it into the corner.
All right, man.
And
Caution
maybe
is
a
out.
bit
Caution
too
is
far
out.
into the corner. And we have more contact as the 28 of Eric Heater has gone around, and that will bring another quick caution out here on lap 35. And we'll see what got that 28 in some trouble.
Heater won the Cup race last season in here.
Looks like they got hooked down the backstretch. Or, yeah, the backstretch. We'll see what this is about.
Ooh.
Ooh. And, ooh, backs it into the outside wall. A lot of rear end damage now for that 28. Looks like with some contact from Cade McKee there in the 27. And that's a really big hit for that 28 machine. I don't know what this was.
Yeah, it looks like, I'm not sure if not Harry, but Cade thought he was clear into the corner. He straight up hooked that 28 in the process.
I think Cade may have been trying to take the normal arc he does into the corner perhaps and just didn't anticipate the 28 being where he was and just straight up hooked him, but that'll be a EOL for the 27 and some significant damage for the 28, so neither party wins out in that one, but that of course will put us back under the yellow flag.
Harry Grindle, Tyler Connors, looks like they've disconnected. I think it's an internet issue for that number 70 because no incidents on his resume, but for Tyler Connors, looks like 4X. I'm not sure where he got involved in something, but he disconnects as well. And looks like we're getting reports of Harry Grindle with a quote-unquote power surge. And
That's never good.
Yeah, that's not good for him.
Yeah, power surges are good for more than just iRacing. Power surges are never a good thing. As there you see the 12 of Hunter Johnson, who'll take the lucky dog, so he should be back on the lead lap now after winning the LCQ earlier. So that's going to put us, I believe, with 30 cars on the lead lap, but that's already the second or third internet issue we've seen, so I don't know if this is a more graphic intensive track or something, or maybe just a bad night to have bad internet, but hopefully we don't see too much more of that here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like just internet issues. Playing a role in here for tonight, unfortunately. Blaze Brinkley, though, keeping himself out of harm's way up front. Now, Brody Gardner in that number 55. 12X, jeez. Wilkinson, in the meantime, even though he hit pit road, he's all the way stuck back in 23rd as of right now. 1 to go.
Yeah, and I mentioned it before, you see all the front end damage that 55 has after giving that 56 a bump into 1 after the door bang from before, and the 55's got some rear end damage, so again, there's going to be quite a few cars with damage before this thing's over, and there's already a considerable amount, and we're only 39 laps in. So even if you don't end up DQing because of an instant limit, you could just end up, having to disconnect because of straight up damage. But Brinkley will lead us back to the green on lap number 40, and we are back underway here into 1.
Whoa!
Oh, tap from Weil gives Rosero a tap, and Weil almost simultaneously gets one from Dominic Howe, but Rosero will keep that spot, and I think Weil may end up losing one to Sheen, as they're still side-by-side here into 3. Sertajman on the 49 trying to make the high side work along with the 77 of Sheen, and they're still side-by-side here into 1.
Wow, still sideways!
He almost loses it. That 41 may have a bit of a handling issue there. Bit of an uncharacteristic race, I guess, so far, despite being up in that top 10. But he's come pretty close to spinning quite a few times already, and looks like him and Sartaj might doorbang there a bit at a 4. So hopefully that 41 can get that straightened away quick.
Yeah, they single, the only side-by-side action here is for this position up inside this top 10, and now looks like the 86 of Dominic Howe works himself down low to the 49. 49 Sertage is pinching a huge amount. Now gets a bit sideways right up off the corner, and they're, look at that, number 79 of William Schmidt, sort of trying to find a way around these two. You don't want to run into them, of course, but sort of boxed in, nowhere to go.
I don't know how much it's doing in terms of incidents, but I'm seeing quite a few people hit the wall at a turn 4.
Oh, Schmidt goes around!
And this time it's the inside wall and more contact. They're going to stay green, but that's going to cost 79 dearly, as he's going to drop at least 5-6 spots. As he's still getting past and more contact there. That's between Patterson and I don't know who that other car is.
They're still all over the place.
Aaron Brown in the 151 now with Schmidt here into 3.
Oh!
And more trouble, and there goes Aaron Brown. He's going to spin it there.
Oh, he keeps it straight, though, and they're 4 wide.
4 wide out of turn 4. I can't believe Aaron saved that. I thought he was dead sideways. But meanwhile, up front, that lead for Blaze Brinkley up to a second now on Dylan Basin. And it looks like this crowd of cars may have finally died down just a bit. But there could have been 3 or 4 different wrecks there that could have been cautions. But thankfully, they all kept it straight.
McKee works himself to the low side of the 5/16 of Henry Tabor. Williams got himself off the corner just enough as Cade works himself down low. But yeah, poor Schmidt was bounced around like a pinball, and he dropped inside this top 10 all the way back to 18th place.
Omar Diallo hit pit road from 2nd place earlier. He's back up into 8th now in that 1 car, so he's already starting to make his way back up through the field after winning last night and winning the pole for tonight. So we'll see if he can get himself back up towards the lead. But for right now, it's still in that back half of the top 10.
Caution comes out now. I think a lot of drivers are going to hit pit road, slap on their first set. Battle here as Wilkinson works himself to the low side of the 87, Casey Drake. Wilkinson around easily.
And that's for 12th place, and he will take it with ease there into turn 1. So Wilkinson, like Diallo, hit pit road not that long ago. And now they're starting to make their way through the field on those fresher tires. There's the 1. He's got some rear end damage, though. Not sure where he picked that up from, but looks like it's not hurting the car too bad.
Garrett Hess wheeling it off the corner. You saw how sideways he got as Mitch Hobbs is trying to find a ways around that 777. As well as Wilkinson in that number 56 will finally work himself down to the underside of that 89.
Whoa.
A bit loose.
Almost spun it, but he still might complete this pass on Mitch here out of turn 4. And at the line, Mitch will be in front, but Wilkinson should have the preferred line here into 1. And Wilkinson will complete that pass. That is for 11th.
Lost some time to Garrett Hess, and who's now sitting in 10th spot. Sertaj Mon right in front of this group. Battle here for this looks like 7th spot. Dominic Howe and Omar Diallo as Omar works himself forward, now inside this top 7.
That red car in pit road, Harry Grindle, so looks like he's rejoined as Henry Clappert almost spins right next to Blaze Brinkley, and Dylan Basin caught those 2 slower cars at about the worst time possible, and that's going to cost him some more time to Blaze Brinkley. But yeah, Harry Grindle, after that power surge, looks like he's rejoining the race, and will try to gain as many spots as possible despite being all those laps down. And with Harry being in the chase, it's imperative that he does that, because we always say even 1 point can make a big difference.
Yeah, that is correct, and I expect a lot of more DNFs as we progress with tonight's race, but as of right now, we've stayed clean so far for this run, as we're actually approaching a lot of lap machines. So for all those drivers who are laps down, this is uncomforting to them, as the next car to be lapped is the 5 of Brayson Collins. Then after that is David Bachman, then Henry Tabor, then Paul Granada, as well as the 12, Hunter Johnson, up in this mix as well. I wouldn't expect that number 12 to be lapped, since the gap between himself and the leader is fairly large. But maybe if we do get a long run of some sort, that number 12 is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, not very often we see lapped cars play a big enough role, depending on how long the green runs are, as Brinkley will make his way underneath the 5, and that will put another car 1 lap down. And looks like that lead between Brinkley and Basin has stayed about the same, still roughly around a second, hasn't changed a whole lot. in the last 10 or 15 laps. But as long as Basin doesn't lose any more ground, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But of course, that 08 does want to lead.
84 Bachman, the next one to get lapped. Looks like we have a fight here for maybe this fourth spot. This is Michael Bracero, Liam Sheen, and Christopher Weil.
And there's Diallo in the green car. So that one car is definitely charging, and he might get Weil and those other guys pretty soon. But with those tires on that one being fresher than the one everyone in front of him, this should play into his favor if this run is a bit longer.
Bachman in the 84 will scoot himself left out of the leader's way, so he'll hit pit road. Next one to get lapped looks like it's going to be Henry Tabor. In the 16, looks like 04, Paul Granada, Brendan Lightus also in that mix as well. And 90 of Malachi Drake. He's already one lap down. Look at this whole line of cars around this spot. This is going to be crazy for this leader to work through all this traffic, especially when they're lined up nose to tail.
Agreed.
Just like this. So I'm interested to see if Blaze Brinkley does catch these lap cars. Oh, never mind that. Knock on wood, and caution comes out, and around goes that person.
I think that's a 40 something. I think the first number is a 4. Bit tough to see on the. That's the 024 of Noah Allison's. That's one of those where the custom number is different than the one on the ticker. So we'll see what happened here. It looks like he's racing around Joe Burgee, and I think the 83 just sent it right into turn 3 and finishes the job there. So that will more than likely be an EOL for that number 83 machine, and that's going to put Brayson Collins back on the lead lap.
Allison was holding middle. I mean, oh, by the looks of it there. I mean, Noah came down, and Joe already had the nose under him.
Yeah, it's always when you see a different angle, do you change your perspective on what happened, but here come all the leaders, most of whom pitting for the first time, and it looks like Diallo will pit with them rather than trying to stay out and retake the lead. And you see him there in that very first spot as a result of winning the pole here for tonight. You see all those cars taking the wave around. And looks like Diallo will not be first off, to no one's surprise, of course. Brinkley first off the pit lane, and Diallo will actually pick up 2 spots from 7th to 5th.
Good news for all those lap cars. Looks like the leader did not catch all those lap cars in time, and a lot of those people who were lapped down will in turn take the wave around.
Got to see if anyone gets a pit road speeding penalty, though, because, of course, the speed limit here on pit road only 35 miles per hour, so it's very easy to go over. So hopefully nobody got one, but it would not shock me if at least one car in this field did pick one up.
Patterson works himself down on the pit road, so all these drivers, Corey Long, Noah Allison, 42 of... Got the 42. Nevertheless, they all take the wave around. Those cars who are not among those people who did take the wave around, that number's 12 of... oh, no, look a second. Hunter Johnson was the first one lap down, so he gets the wave around. And
I thought Collins got it.
I thought Collins got it too, but... I mean, they're both on the lead lap. Well, either way, they both are now on the lead lap, so less worries for them to really think about. Took the one to go this time by, and all these wave around cars will fling around the pace car and will go green. iSCAR is in. Brinkley will hit the throttle up and away we go. Brody
Green flag.
looks like we'll get the nose under Dylan Basin for that
Oh,
spot.
Mitch.
Mitch Hobbs is dead sideways into 1.
Close call there for the 89. Meanwhile, teammates battling here for second, and there might be just a bit of contact between the two of them. Almost 3 wide out of turn 2. And here comes Weil trying to retake that spot away from Liam as Diallo gets a bit high in the middle of the turn.
Brody again with the incidents on his resume. You don't want to race around too hard. I would, in my opinion, just let the 08 by. But of course, big opportunity to challenge here for the second spot. Losing some time to the leader doing it though. Diallo!
Whoa! Saves it. Yeah, big moment there for the 1 as he manages to hold on to 5th, but that's going to allow Weil to put up another challenge perhaps for that spot. As Diallo, I think, may have just given the Rosero a bit of a tap there, but the 23 holds on for now. Here he goes again. Side by side out of turn 4, trying to get 4th place away from Michael Rosero. And I think he will get him here into turn 1. And there's see Weil in the 41 right in tow with these two. So if one of these two slips up, he's right there to try to capitalize.
Rosero slipped himself to the bottom side before Weil even had the opportunity to pass there down low. Weil will have to resort to using the outside in a 3 and file back in line. And now, close racing between the 49 of the Sertaj Mon and Mitch Hobbs still sideways.
That's going to mess up his entry into turn 1. But it looks like he'll keep it going in the right direction there. And Blaze Brinkley's already opened up a bigger lead, and Mitch almost loses it again. And I wonder if he just alt
F just alt F forward. That was the 3rd or 4th time he got sideways, and
Hess goes way up the hill, and that's going to allow Casey Drake to make a move on him. It's too bad for Mitch, but by alt F4ing, he may have just saved a big wreck from happening.
Johnson works himself to the low side of Hess for this spot. Of course, Johnson started himself toward the rear after just about starting dead last as they catch the 34 Henry Clapper.
Yeah, Brinkley's already opened up his lead over half a second again on Basin. So that 98/112, definitely the best car out on the racetrack. And it almost seems like a repeat of last night at Charlotte, where there's one guy that's clearly cut above the rest, and it's going to take quite a bit of a challenge for anyone to unseat Blaze Brinkley here tonight.
Battling toward the back as, of course, lap car 34, Clapper getting in the way of everybody. Clapper just trying to mind his own P's and Q's to get around here. Here we go. Hunter Johnson to the underside of Casey Drake. This is for top 10.
Yeah, so good recovery so far for Hunter after that spin earlier. And he will put himself in that top 10 after winning the LCQ and starting 39th. Bit of contact there between Sertaj Mon and Dominic. And now it's going to allow Hunter to maybe pick up 9th place as well here in the middle of turn 2.
Dominic slow on the low side. Casey giving the bumper right up off of turn number 2. Looks like to no avail for that number 87 to Casey Drake. One car around in the background and he slips up the racetrack.
That's Bianchini, I believe.
Oh, that's Latham Joyner actually.
Another custom number there. At least it wasn't a caution, but that'll cost the 03 some spots for sure. And looks like Brinkley starting to catch up on some sort of traffic again. That's Noah Allison, the first one there, and I don't know who's after him. But if this thing stays green for a bit, he'll have to navigate through those cars once again.
If there's any time to have a chance of catching the leader, it's right now, because now you're catching the tail end of these lap cars for Dylan Basin and the 08. All you have to do is just weave yourself through traffic better than that number 112 of Blaze Brinkley. So we'll see what Blaze could do with all these lap cars, as now he catches the rear end of Noah Allison, and you see there that small hiccup could cost you tenths, and tenths could of course cost you the race. So Noah now moves up high out of Blaze's way, and we'll see what the 08 works at. We'll see the difference between how the 08 moves himself through Noah Allison.
Yeah, I would assume Noah will probably move out of his way as well. It'd be a bit weird if he moved out of one person's way and not everyone else, but for the meantime, Brinkley's lead stays about where it is, and indeed Noah will get out of the way, so that will allow Basin and Diallo to get by, and soon enough Brody will as well. Coming up on Brayson Collins and Clappert, who will move out of the way as well. But this is where we could see some stuff go on, as now Brinkley's going to have to split these guys perhaps into turn 1, and this could be advantageous for Basin to try to lessen that gap.
I mean, as the leader, for those lap cars, you're racing that leader harder than you are for second place, because, of course, if you race your leader hard enough, you won't get lapped. But for second place, of course, it won't make a difference whether lapped or not, so that leader is getting raced harder by lap cars than those other people, so usually lap cars will let everybody else by. Bit of Doring right behind as Diallo trying to find himself around the 5 of Basin, as I say that.
Bit of a close call there, but thankfully nothing comes of it.
This is Carson Poindexter getting lapped after finishing P2.
All right, man.
Oh, caution comes out, and he'll be the wave around.
Well, that works out for him, but we'll see what brings out the yellow here.
Not sure again. Oh, you see Casey Drake?
Ooh! Yeah, that's out of turn 4. Get another look at this.
Yeah. There he is. I'm gonna fast forward it just a bit. See what happened.
Gotta look here into
Well,
turn.
caution's already out, so gotta rewind it a bit more. There they are. Not this lap. Casey hits the wall.
The wall though.
I don't know where it happened. I saw it off of 4. I swear I did. Might have been somebody else. There it is. It wasn't Casey Drake.
Here it is. That's Tabor. And
that is Josh Patterson.
Points leader Josh Patterson. So that's not good for him. But he'll make his way onto pit road. So not the race that points leader was looking for to try to retain said points lead. But that'll put us under the yellow once again. It looks like some more people towards the back also are down pit road. And it looks like Christopher Weil has overtaken 2 of his teammates. It looks like Brody Gardner and Dylan Basin both have hit pit road under this caution period. So that'll put them further back in the field now.
Yeah, the first car with fresh tires is going to be Dylan Basin. Michael Bracero also hit pit road. Omar Diallo, Cole Williams, and Max Urich all in this position. Peter Kenny, Justin Johnson, and Brody Gardner all back here. Brody had a fairly long pit stop, probably getting some optional damage repair. He'll move himself down onto pit road yet again. So that 55 looks as though, looks like maybe a disconnection by that 41.
I hope not.
Yeah, it looks like Christopher's not being displayed on the racetrack as of right now, so.
And he's up there in points as well. So perhaps the top 2 in points, both with some issues here over the last 3 or 4 laps.
Weil looks like we're getting reports of, it's like he fell through.
Oh no.
That's another internet issue.
That's a third or fourth one now tonight. So I don't know what's going on, but another great run ended there. And that might cost Chris dearly in the points now as well.
Yeah, just find it interesting how a lot of people are falling through. Just like this. Like, they're falling like flies. Here we go up front, though. Blaze Brinkley, in the meantime, up front, and who will lead the field to the green. We're up and away as Liam Sheen jams up the inside.
Flag,
We'll see Hunter
flag.
Johnson go work himself down low for that second spot.
Yeah, sure, slowly but surely, Hunter's got himself into the top 5 after, again, winning the LCQ and barely even getting into this race. And now is up there with a chance to maybe take the lead away from Brinkley, but he'll have to do it quick before that 112 pulls right away again. And you can see he's already starting to, no longer on the screen. There he is, just now crossing the line, and almost a wreck there. That is Wilkinson and Basin into turn 1. Oh, that's actually Paul Granada. Those two cars are colored very similarly. But a near wreck regardless. But a good save there from the 04.
Hess locks it up into the corner, but he sits in 5th as of right now. Liam Sheen still holding strong for the second spot, but they're 2 by 2 right behind as drivers still scrambling for this position. Brandon Wilkinson, the leader of this main pack, as he now pulls away from the 79 and William Schmidt, who's now inside this top 10 yet again. Cade McKee, he too is in this top 10.
Yeah, good run so far for both of them. There you see Burgee in the 83 just outside that top 10. And Omar Diallo in the 1 trying to get back in the top 10 again for the second time tonight after pitting from it. So that 1 we know is really strong and has been all night and pretty much all weekend. But can he get back there again now?
Here we go for this spot. Number 12, Hunter Johnson, is going to try to work to the rear end of that number 77. Get around him. Closes the gap up big time. He's going to have an opportunity coming into 3.
Takes to the low side, but Liam shuts the door. Hunter will have to settle for 3rd for the time being, but Blaze Brinkley already out to a 2.5 lead over both of these cars. And Hunter will give the 77 a tap there into 1 and try to let him know he's there and he wants that spot. And I think into 3 he's going to have a run, but Hunter got loose and that'll negate that run immediately.
Yeah, Sheen pinched down Hunter big time. Hunter couldn't really nose it to the inside or else he was going to spin the 77 out. That's the last thing you want to do. So Hunter backs out of it and he lost some time to Liam Sheen, but being pinched at Martinsville is very, very frustrating, and I'm sure that number 12 is not pleased with that number 77 to Liam Sheen. So the next time these two make contact, I'm pretty sure we're going to see one of those spin.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to try to retain those spots as best you can, but again, that can be extremely frustrating to the cars that you're racing with. And for Hunter, the last thing, again, he wants to do is spin him out because that'll end up giving him an EOL, and he'll have to march his way through the field all over again.
Now goes to the low side. Sheen tries to shut the door. Yet again, even more pinching by the 77 of Liam Sheen. But this time, oh, he gets loose off the corner. They door!
Oh!
Yeah, that's...
That looked a bit intentional there from Liam, but Hunter will get that spot away. So looks like some more short track tempers flaring here between 2 different cars in the top 5. And the thing I'm mainly concerned about after that is how many incident points the 2 of them just picked up.
Hunter's sitting at a 12x. Liam's sitting at 13. So there you go. There's your answer.
Yeah, and we're still only halfway through the race, so if they're not careful, they may not even make it to the end of this race, whether they're damaged or not.
Now Liam's going to jam up Dominic. Dominic sort of boxed in. They'll also allow Omar to work himself down low.
P4. So Diallo back in the top 5 again after starting on the pole, pitting, getting back to the top 5, pitting, and now back up in the top 5 again. So it seems like it's a bit of a cycle here for Diallo as he'll now take 3rd place away from Liam Sheen. Liam attempts to crossover but doesn't have the run to complete it. And now that'll put the 1 now back into a podium spot.
Yeah, and Liam has older tires than that number 1 of Omar. He has the freshest tires at this whole entire field. 23 of Michael Rossero's trapped back in 6th place, and he's sort of stalled in and can't really go anywhere as of right now. But once this 1 gets out in clean air, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a shot to get by the 12. But for Blaze Brinkley on the other side, he's gone.
Look at the lead he's got, almost 3 seconds now, which at Martinsville is a zip code of your own. As it looks like Dominic's got a bit of a boot perhaps there as he loses 2 spots on that high side. He'll drop to 7th behind Rosero and Basin.
More battling right behind. Cade McKee and Brandon Wilkinson go side by side in a 1. Wilkinson's trying to pinch down Cade as much as he can. Cade gets a nice run off the corner. And Aaron Brown is gonna... Oh!
Oh no!
Alright, man, caution is out.
What
Caution is out.
was that?
Yeah, that's not what you want to do.
Caution is out, and Cade McKee with some significant rear end damage, and I don't know if that was an Alt F4 by that other car, but that was going to be a gnarly hit if it wasn't. See what that was, but looks like a pretty similar instance of what happened earlier with Cade and Eric Heater. So this is with Wilkinson, so they make some contact there out of turn 2. And we'll see what happens here into 3. Looks like Cade gives him a shot. Another shot. Aaron Brown gives Cade a shot. So these two have been going at it now for a solid lap. And I think the contact's going to happen down in turn 3. So Cade completes the pass. Aaron is still there. Now here's where we need to keep our eyes out. Oh, looks like... Oh, I think Aaron tapped Wilkinson and got into Cade, and I think Wilkinson Alt F4'd it right there to minimize the damage.
Took out Cade in the process, though, as you see... whoa! Bit of pit road miscommunication there. Not sure what that was about.
Yeah,
that was weird.
So now Diallo and Rosero are now going to be 1-2 since they're on much fresher tires than the leaders were before they pit. So I believe this might be the first... Thankfully, there's no contact like that on pit road, but I think this might be the first restart all race that will not be controlled by Blaze Brinkley. So we'll see how that car performs in dirtier air, I suppose. And it looks like he'll be 7th for the upcoming restart.
Yeah, Omar and Rosero's gonna take this top 2. Brinkley is gonna start all the way back, by the looks of it, in 7th place, and of course fresher tires and those drivers right in front of him. Harry, working around Harry Grindle in the number 70.
So Aaron Brown looks like he's not going to get an EOL despite that contact. So he's currently shown in 4th right now on the ticker. So maybe that may have been on Wilkinson. I'm not really sure. But it looked like the 151 had gotten into the 56.
Brandon did get disqualified via incident points, so that's why yeah, he didn't.
Yeah, it looked like Wilkinson may have actually been trying to get into Cade. I thought Aaron at first tried to... or got into him, but considering the contact the two of them just had, that could have been retaliatory. But regardless, Wilkinson's night is over with the DQ limit, but we saw how he was going into the outside wall. His night was going to end about 5 seconds after it anyway.
Pace car is in. Diallo going to work himself up high. Green flag is out. Rosero's dead sideways.
Nice save, but that stacks up the high side as Aaron Brown scrapes the wall. Coming to the finish line, that's going to allow Brody and Brinkley to both get by Aaron Brown, and that 151 is going to continue to drop as Carson Poindexter, who also stayed out, now under attack from Brinkley. The two of them make some contact, and that's going to send Poindexter in the wrong direction. More contact to himself from Rosero there out of turn 4.
Yeah, they're still running over each other. That's like the last thing you want to do. But Blaze, in the meantime of that, he's worked himself into 3rd. Poindexter's in the wall. Oh, excuse me. Poindexter's in the wall. Now works himself in line.
Oh, and gets a shot from Garrett, who gets a shot from Hunter, who gets a shot from Dominic. And that's a typical short track stack up there. As right there, 3-4 cars all end up getting into each other. But thankfully, none of them end up going around.
Yeah, they're still scrambling around, trying to get around Aaron Brown. Aaron did stay out on the oldest tires out of everybody who did stay out. All in the meantime of that, up front though, Blaze Brinkley He's closing the gap on that number 1. And you see the run that number 98 had off the corner, and here he comes.
Yeah, Diallo's just going to let him go. He's not even going to try to challenge him and just lets him go right by. But he may have done it a bit too much, and now he's going to be side by side. Rosero gets the wall, and that's going to hold up Gardner just a bit, and that will allow the 55 to get 4th back, and here comes Poindexter looking for 5th.
Rosero still in the high side wall.
Again.
Yeah, he's
having a tough time up there.
He has his car out of control. Liam gives Carson the bump. There's
more contact there between Poindexter and Rosero.
Poindexter needs to get clear of that number 23, or else they're still just going to be side by side like that. Poindexter gets the run off the corner. But in the meantime, that Hunter works himself to the low side. Rosero trying to dive bomb maybe the 21. Never mind of that. But look at Liam send it on the high side.
And Rosero's going to get tight in the middle of the turn and gets into that 77, but keeps it straight. I'm seeing the contact on the track. What I'm really seeing is just 4x there, 4x here, 4x everywhere. These guys have to be really careful of how they make contact like this, because if you do that one too many times, you may end up DQ just like Wilkinson was.
Yeah, that's right.
All those hits to the wall by Rosero, those can add up as well. I believe those are 1x for wall contact. So even though it's not a 4x, those can also add up fairly quickly, as well as just contact with other cars.
I mean, if you hit the wall hard enough, that's a 2x, but I mean, if you scrape it, it's 0x, so it shouldn't be too much. But for that number 23, he's now dropping back now outside of this top 10, or now still inside this top 10, but going to be under fire here from Aaron Brown. But up front, though,
Brinkley's gone again.
That's right.
Diallo's managed to stay up there. He stayed out as well. Of the 4 cars that stayed out, Diallo's done the best job at staying up there. Poindexter's still in 5th, but the other two now. Brown is 11th, Rosero is 10th, so they've quickly fallen out of there, as Brinkley has now opened up that lead once again to a 2.5 over the pole sitter. So the front row for tonight's race still 1-2, but just in the other order.
Hunter works himself down low to Poindexter. Poindexter couldn't get a bite off the corner, and Hunter leads 5th at the line. Poindexter cuts off Liam Sheen for that spot. They jam up just momentarily for that spot, for that whole line in 1 and 2.
Yeah, Hunter back into the top 5 once again after getting up there earlier. As Liam tries to get by that 21, but doesn't have a run to be able to get the nose underneath that 21 machine. And a bit of a blink there from Carson. Hopefully that doesn't manifest into something any bigger than that, as you've already seen 3 or 4 people fall out or have some kind of hardware issue, so hopefully that's not the start of another one.
Liam settles in 7th place, as up front though, Blaze Brinkley checking out. There's about a whole scenic view for these next 20 laps until the next caution, I guess, comes out.
Yeah, that 112 it's been almost effortless for him, as he's just been in a league of his own this entire race, even right off the restart, getting all those spots back with ease. And I mean, in terms of even under pace, he's had almost no competition all night. He's been able to pull away so quickly and leave everybody else in the dust, where at this point, it's just a massive battle for second.
Yeah, it seems as though that gamble by that number 1 of Diallo for staying out on older tires just did not work to his favor, so...
He's still in 2nd place, though.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, as they say, second sucks, but, you know, second is also a lot better than, you know, 18th or 31st or whatever else. Nice battle going on. Liam's finally gotten the nose underneath Carson, and I think he might be able to get this pass here into turn 1. This is for 6th place, and there's Dominic in the 86 right behind, and it looks like the 77 will be able to complete that pass, but can't quite clear up high.
Clapper's going to play an issue into this. He now works it up high and out of harm's way. Dominic nearly washed into Poindexter. Whoa! Poindexter goes around!
All right, man.
And collects Joe Burgee.
And
Schmidt. Oh, no! And Aaron Brown clobbers.
Oh, they're still piling in.
Yeah, they're still piling in. The track is blocked at this point. Cole Williams in the 42 also around. and the cautions back out for far and away the biggest wreck so far of the night.
Oh,
And the leaders
Brayson
have to
clips
be
the 42.
careful. Yeah, now they're getting going. Brinkley's probably stopped on the track somewhere. And that got big quick.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, Poindexter and I think that was Sheen.
It
The
wasn't
first two, oh no, Dominic.
Dominic. Yeah.
They hit once and they hit again, and then here's Poindexter. Burgee gets a piece, and then you'll see right here, there's Schmidt. He goes to miss it. He hits the inside wall. Brown clobbers him. Cole spins into Kevin White, and then I think that's Peter Kenny got run into by that blue car.
I think it's Frimpong.
So that's 5, 6, 7 cars all suffering some degree of damage here on that front stretch wreck. And unfortunately for Burgee, just couldn't quite get out of the way enough. But at least he got through before the track got blocked. And man, what a hit by Brown on Poindexter.
Yeah, that was messy. That just tells you how sketchy Martinsville is. And that sucks for the 79 of William Schmidt, who is running in top 10.
The track had been opened for general admission parking, and people definitely took advantage. And indeed, that is Frimpong, who is already quite a few laps down. Looks like Diallo has made his way down pit road, so he'll have to get himself back up towards the front again on the next restart.
Yeah, Blaze, in the meantime of that, of all this exchange, luckily in clean air at the time of the incident, still surviving with the 0x. Hunter Johnson, in the meantime, 12x on his resume. Liam Sheen looks like disconnection for him, so that that 77, he's gone.
Another one in the top 5, top 10 all night. So that's gonna throw another wrench into things, but Brinkley, again, has just dominated this entire race. Still in first, Johnson second now. Basin third, he's been up there all night. Dominic's had a good run, but has... Actually, Dominic, I think... Oh, no, there he is. Christopher Weil in that yellow 41, though, he's back out on the racetrack after falling through earlier. We'll have to see how many laps he lost. But I would assume at least 2 or 3, since of course he had to rejoin the session and everything. As the ticker continues to scroll, and it looks like it's going to be 4 laps for the 41, which may seem like a lot for Martinsville, and it is, but if we have more people retire from the race, those could be free spots he can pick up.
Liam Sheen, seems as though internet has caught him in the bad way, so he is now outside of this top 10. Another internet issue as we go about green. Hunter Johnson will fend out and complete the pass for second place, and we'll see what the number 12 could do with Blaze Brinkley.
Yeah, this race has almost turned from a battle of attrition to a battle of who has the best internet of everybody in the race, as another one bites the dust as a result of that. Contact there between Burgee and Rosero out of turn 4. They are side by side for P6 and a 1.
Dominic trying to find a lane in line as Rosero washes up the corner nearly into Burgee. Rosero, even though his car is just about sideways every corner, that number 23 doing a nice job of maintaining a top 10 spot. Latham Joyner now inside this top 10.
Oh, contact here. That's
right,
Justin
caution
Johnson
it
and
out.
Kevin
Caution
White
it
Jr. But the caution has come out and looks like for something totally separate.
Grayson Collins looks like the one in trouble with this one.
Ooh, yeah, looks like he just nosed it into the wall. See what happened, and... Oh, yep, overcorrect.
Just give the wave around to the 151 of Aaron Brown. Went a lap down earlier for damage repair after that big hit into turn number 1. And indeed, Liam Sheen does fall through. So we go back under a caution, a quick one here at Martinsville. Going to show you the race summary here in the bottom right. Currently only 9 cautions as of right now. Very surprised. A fairly clean race. I mean, still have 66 laps to go. 8 lead changes so far. Currently on lap 134 out of 200. We'll see what the track temp provides as of right now. Looks like a 111 on the racetrack. So we'll 137 out of 200. So top 10, Brinkley, Johnson, Basin, Gardner, Howe, Cerro, Berge, and the yellow flag ticker. Joyner, Hess, and Drake.
Here's Frimpong coming off of pit road, trying to beat the pace car on Needy Will. So 62 to go at the line, and it's been an unbelievably dominant performance so far for Blaze Brinkley. Hasn't really had much by way of a challenge at all tonight. But could Hunter maybe do something here on the restart?
Just maybe. Green flag is out.
Ring.
Looks like at number 12 of Johnson couldn't get going, and Dylan will have a shot coming into turn number 1. Maybe take this second spot. He gets a run off the corner. Hunter got loose. We'll see what Gardner could do in that 55 to get himself into 3rd. Oh, ooh. Dylan net-coded in a Hunter. Very surprised that, I don't think there was any 4Xs handed off of that.
Hunter loses 2 spots, so here comes Brody trying to get second back from his teammate Basin. Brody's done a good job of keeping his car relatively clean since those early 12X he got earlier, but now finds himself back in the runner-up spot. But it's still going to be quite the challenge to try to get to that 112.
The 12 and 08 meet again for 3rd place. Looks like Dylan not really going to fight out for that position. So Brody takes on P2, but Blaze is gone. Everybody else, though, in the meantime, stacked up nose to tail, trying to find their own rhythm. Bit of contact there with the 86 and 83, Joe Berge, Dominic Howell get to go at it. Here's a fight outside this top 10. This seems as though Kevin White Jr., Paul Granada, and Casey Drake all in this mix, as looks like William Schmidt, after that big wreck on the front straightaway, has found himself in 15th spot. Max Yerk, one of the LCQ drivers outside of this top 15. A lot of scrambling outside of this top 20.
Yeah, even though these guys aren't necessarily towards the front, still some pretty good battles going on between different cars. As Lightos looks like he'll have a bit of a trip there into the outside wall. Battle between Noah Allison and Peter Kenny. I'm not even sure if that's her position, but Allison will get the spot out on the track. Here's Urich and Paul Granada. The 6 looks like will easily take that spot away from the 04. And Blaze Brinkley already up by over half a second.
Hunter closing the gap fairly hard. That number 55. Hunter, yet again, closing the gap between himself and Brody. I expect these two to make more contact, but you gotta be careful, because both of them have 12x. Oh, Brody's dead sideways!
Oh.
Yeah, that's not what you want to do.
You also have to consider that at this point of the race, if you don't count Omar Diallo, these are probably the only 2 cars that have any realistic chance of trying to get Brinkley, and Brody gives him 2 shots. Brody a shot, so a bit of a stack up perhaps between Brody and Basin. So not bit of teammate contact there, as the slower car of Brayson Collins will get himself out of harm's way, and actually Brody ends up catching him though at a bad angle, and that's going to cost him a couple more tenths perhaps to that 12.
16x. The next incident they get.
Still 52 to go. Over. Well, if he gets another incident, he'll have to do the drive-through, but after that, if he gets another 4x, then he'll be disqualified. So Brody really has to be careful now.
Yeah, and Dylan's going to be all over that number 55. Now Hunter's in for second. Question is, what could Hunter's going to be limited for his options to get to that number 90, that 112 of Blaze Brinkley. So unfortunate. It's just the way, as Dewey would like to say, the cookie crumbles. Looking through, see some more battling. Looks like Liam Sheen back onto the racetrack after blinking mishap. Fell through and now he's working himself through lead lap traffic. Other drivers we haven't really mentioned about.
Frimpong is a lot of laps down. I think he's just out there for points at this point. Justin Johnson in the 33. I haven't talked about him a whole lot tonight. In 22nd, not too bad, all things considered. Actually, started in 22nd, so he's right where he's been, I guess, pretty much the entire race. A net gain of 0 there for the 33, trying to keep his car as clean as possible here in the late going. If some things, shake out differently, whoa, contact between Cade and Frimpong there. But, if things shake out in a certain way, you never know. That 33 could maybe get himself into the top 10 at some point.
Blaze works himself through 1 and 2, now catching the rear end of Peter Kenny.
And Peter will let him go without an issue, so Blaze puts the 19 a lap down here, coming to 46 laps to go, so time is not on the side of Hunter Johnson or anybody else trying to catch that number 98 of Blaze Brinkley, who's put on an absolute masterpiece of a performance here so far tonight.
Going to the backside of that 55. Hunter tags the curb. It seems as though Hunter's slowly catching on Brinkley. Yeah, he really definitely caught him there. But it looks like Clapper's going to play a big role for that number 12 of Hunter Johnson. So, Brinkley can't really go anywhere off of that. And now, we're starting to catch the rear end of lead lap traffic. So, for Blaze Brinkley, you got to work yourself through as efficiently as you can, because Hunter Johnson is going to be all over you. And you see that gap, it's closing big time.
Yeah, I've noticed that Blaze has not pulled away as much on this restart as he has on pretty much every other restart in the race. The gap only still about 6-7 tenths of a second between himself and Hunter Johnson. So I don't know what's changed, but Hunter's definitely putting up looks like the biggest fight so far out of anybody off of a restart. But that 98 still the dominant car of the race and still on the track.
Aaron Brown's the next one to get caught up in this mix. Right in front of the leader. Oh, was that a car spinning? I'm not really sure, but there was a lot of smoke in front of the leader. Here's Aaron Brown.
Blink. And you see the front end gone on that 151 after the contact earlier with William Schmidt.
And if you're the leader, you're holding that push to talk button and getting everybody out of your way. And look at this mess right in front of Brinkley. He'd work himself to the low side of Aaron Brown, but man, he has to work himself through. Looks like the 93 of Corey Long. Oh, looks like Hunter. Nope, never mind. I thought he caught Aaron at a bad angle. Hunter's gonna have to shove himself to the low side, but
looks like Cade McKee has been disqualified for the incident limit, so another one ends up falling for either internet or incidents. There'll be one less car left on the track at the finish, but you see how Hunter's diving into the corner. He's trying everything he can to try to catch that 98, but he's going to need some help from lapped cars in order to do it.
Yeah, he got sideways in 3 and 4 and now laps around in the number 33 of Justin Johnson. Next one in line is Henry Tabor in the 5 or 16. And look at them, they're nose to tail. Hunter trying to get Justin out of the way. Pretty sure Justin's going to let him go in 1.
Here he goes.
And simultaneously
yeah.
Oh. I'm not going to comment on that, but...
Simultaneously.
Yeah.
And Tabor lets Hunter go there into 3, so next up for Blaze looks like the 04 of Paul Granada. And that Hunter's keeping tough. He hasn't been able to lessen that gap much, but it's also not getting any bigger, so I still think this is the first real challenge that Brinkley's had all night.
All right, man.
But Hunter only has about 35 laps to try to make something of it, but the caution is out once again, and we'll see what it's for. But I think at this stage of the race, we might start to see some people try to stay out.
Or it might be the opposite. This is the stage in which everybody hits pit road. And cause of the caution, probably in 1 and 2. If it was 86 of Dominic Howe around. Had a squint on my screen.
He's in the top 10 for a good part of the night, too.
I'm not seeing him on the leaderboard. I'm trying to pluck through. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, I
just looped it.
And he goes.
Maybe an Alt F4. Oh, no, there he is. Pit stops again. As all the leaders are in, and it looks like Josh Patterson in the 02 is going to roll the dice and stay out here.
Ooh! Oh, that was close.
Yeah, Brinkley almost lost the lead there to Hunter. Basin, Gardner, Diallo. So we're waiting for the ticker to update. It looks like Patterson and maybe Dominic Howe are going to stay out. But I think Howe might be on pit road already. There he goes. But I think Patterson is going to try to stay out. Oh, nope, there he goes.
Yeah, he went on the pit road. So, yeah, again, as I said earlier, this is probably the stage in which you want to take tires. And from this point forward, it's now going to be a gamble on how the runs and cautions will play to favor.
I would have thought we'd see maybe at least one person try to gamble and stay out with only about 30 to go. But now that all the leaders have come down pit road, of course, they don't need to pit again. So that will pretty much take away any opportunity for someone to try to gamble if we have another caution.
Alright, so... try again. See how this works. So it's Brinkley, Johnson, Basin, Gardner, Diallo, Berge, Rosero, Joyner, Schmidt, and Hess. Hess has had a pretty nice run, honestly. He's run quietly inside this top 10 for the most of the race. Green flag is out.
Green.
Oh, 3 wide, maybe.
Bad start for Hunter, and that's going to allow Basin to take a look for second into turn 1. As Diallo makes a move underneath Gardner for fourth at the same time as that, and Basin clears for second as Rosero taps the wall out of 2.
Diallo still fairly even with Gardner as here comes Hunter. Oh, Basin just got scared a bit.
Here comes Hunter.
What a
Open
move.
the door right for him.
Hunter to second.
And look at Diallo right there in the 1. He's going to take a look for third. And look at Berge send it in there
Oh!
on Brody. And
Oh!
Brody's going to give Berge a tap, and Berge hits the outside wall. And here comes...
And Brody has an incident penalty off of that.
Oh, no.
And Berge
here
goes
comes
around.
Berge. He spins it.
All right, man. Caution
And
is
that will
out.
bring the
Caution is
caution out again.
Oh.
And...
Oh, my gosh.
No. And Casey Drake, the unlucky victim there.
Berge's he's probably going to be finding at 55.
Well, if he goes to final, it'll probably be on pit road because he has to serve that penalty.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, with Gardner with a penalty. Yeah, that's not the way you wanted it to go. Berge went around, so of course as Berge drifted up the racetrack, flung into...
Yeah, Berge really sent it in there, and here comes Brody.
Berge
Gives
tried to
him
cross
that
him
tap,
over.
And into the wall he goes, and yeah, again, Brody's going to have to serve that penalty. So that's going to drop him out of the top 10, and then there, I think he may have chopped Garrett a bit. Looks like Hunter Johnson, he's up to a 16x as well. So if he makes any more contact, that's going to give him a drive-through penalty as well. And this is part of the advantage that Blaze Brinkley has of being out front for so long tonight, is that I don't even know if he's a single incident point so far, but all the cars behind him have been beating and banging with each other all race. So Blaze can afford to maybe bump and run somebody if they get by him, but the guys behind him, they can't do that because they'll end up having a penalty if they do. So it makes it even harder to try to get by that 112.
Across the start-finish line. So yeah, you're right. Again, as I said, not only for Hunter Johnson, Omar Diallo, he has 12x as well, so he's limited on what he could do for these upcoming this upcoming restart. Diallo, you don't want to make too much contact with Blaze. Yeah, as I mentioned, it's the drivers with more incidents are going to be vulnerable to losing more spots, as well as limited with passing options.
Looks like Brody hasn't served that penalty. I don't know if...
Can't serve it under caution.
Oh, I thought he could have just got an EOL instead of a drive-through under green.
Yeah, I thought so too, but it looks like not protesting with the admins about it, so...
That makes it even worse, because now he's going to lose at least a lap doing it.
Maybe even 2.
So that's going to probably end any chance he has at winning the race. But out of turn 4, Brinkley will lead us back to the green. We're back underway with just 23 laps to go. And look at the jump Diallo got there on Hunter, and he'll instantly take second place away. And Hunter can't really defend either, because again, he's at his 16X. So any contact with anyone else is going to give him a penalty to serve as well. And here comes Brody in the 55 to serve his.
Hunter washed up the racetrack. Diallo, oh my goodness. Dylan trying to take it 3 wide off the corner. Rosero also getting into the mix.
Yeah, I think he may give it a bit of a shot there to Basin and entering turn 1. Hunter's trying his best to get back at Diallo, but again, there's not a whole lot he can do in terms of door banging or bumping, because it'll instantly send him probably 2 laps down. $20 to go at the line.
Yeah, Hunter's sort of in a sandwich right now. Dylan is putting a good amount of pressure on that number 12. As of right now, but...
I think Diallo at this point is the only car that can really challenge the 98 at this point. Relatively undamaged, just like that 98 is. And doesn't have to worry about instant limits the way everyone else does. So I think if anyone's going to dethrone Blaze Brinkley, it's probably going to be the car that's already won once this weekend.
Well, that is correct. And for Brinkley, doesn't run the series often. Probably his first ever start. Runs Redline usually. Of course, a contender on that side of things. And here he is showing up to iSCAR and showing no difference. You're up front.
Yeah, it's pretty much put on a clinic of how to run Martinsville.
Question is, can he close it off? 18 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, time running out for Omar to try to make a move on him.
Oh, Omar might have gotten a tap from Hunter. Here comes Hunter. He's going to have a shot to go under for third.
Well, if Hunter did give him a tap, hopefully for him it didn't push him over to a 17X. Because again, Hunter has to be really careful about that to not incur a penalty. That'll push him out of third and out of the top 20 in all likelihood. Because we still have over 20 cars on the lead lap. Looks like 21 actually. Brody looks like the last car on the lead lap despite having to serve that penalty. So that'll be a big hit to Hunter if he ends up incurring a penalty here.
Question is, if a caution comes out now, we are just about, I'd say, 15-ish, 20-ish laps into the run. If we see a late caution, do you want to gamble to come on a pit road and take on tires, or you have to stay out for track position?
If there were less cars on the lead lap, I'd consider, but there's still 21 cars on the lead lap. So if you end up being the only person that pits, you're going to be stuck around 21st with like 9 laps to go, and that you're probably not going to win at that point. But if there may be like, 12, 13 cars in the lead lap, I think it'd be much more feasible to try to do that.
Right, I agree with that. I'm not expecting these top 2 to pull an inverse strategy and hitting pit road. Just because the way off their speed and such like that, and just not viable as of right now as we see a fight for the spot!
Oh! Some contact for that spot. This is for P6 between Latham Joyner and Cole Williams, with William Schmidt right behind the two of them. It'd be something to watch here in the late stages of this race. But Latham will hold on to that spot for now.
I'm very surprised about the recovery that number 79 of William Schmidt had after that big wreck on the front. Looks like recovered inside this top 10. Some other drivers as well toward the back still in contention. How about Noah Allison without a front end? He's sitting in 10th spot.
Yeah, he's had a pretty rough night so far, but has toughed it out and for the time being has a top 10 in the bag. So if he can hold off for the next 10 laps, I mean, his car is pretty beat up, but that's a finish I'd be proud of after the night he's had.
Brinkley catches Brayson Collins, and Brinkley will work himself down low.
Here comes Diallo. That gap is, I think it's shortened a bit, but still looks like it's around half a second for the time being.
Hunter just can't get by for that spot.
And he can't use the bumper at all.
Yeah, that's right. Not only that,
that's the biggest hindrance.
Yeah, that's right. And for Omar Diallo, he too has 12x as of right now. So
I thought he had less than that.
yeah, he has.
His car looks way too clean to have a 12x.
Yeah, I know. A bit crazy. Might have gotten netcoded or something like that, but oh, Brinkley catches Poindexter at a bad angle, so lose him a bit more time.
And Poindexter will get out of the way of Diallo as well. 6 to go at the line. It's been an absolute dominating performance so far for Blaze Brinkley. No one's been really able to touch him all night, but Omar Diallo just has 5 laps and change to try to get something done here.
Ooh. See Clapper get loose off the corner. Brinkley caught him off the corner at a bad angle. Hunter couldn't capitalize on it. These three are still within closing distance of each other, but if a caution comes out, everybody's going to have to stay out. And they just have 5 more laps to log in some to clean.
4 to go.
4 laps to go for that number 98. He's done a phenomenal job so far. I think he's led over 100 laps. Oh yeah, definitely over 100 laps. 182 as of right now.
It's like all but I think 14 of them so far.
Yeah.
Ready to go up the line. There's Brody Gardner in the 55 in the foreground there. So that's the last car in the lead lap after he served that penalty. And a reminder, if he somehow picks up a 4X the next couple laps, it'll be a DQ for him. But only 2.5 laps
to go.
Caution! Oh, man, and that's going to shake some things up here. And we'll see what it's for. And I was thinking in the back of my head, are we going to have a caution? Are they going to make it? And the answer is yes and no, respectively. And we'll get a look and see what brought the caution out that will put us in the green-white checker territory.
Might have been the 5?
Oh. Him and Patterson. I wonder if his engine expired or something. Yeah, I think the engine let go on the 5 car.
Get another
Bergie
replay.
Runs into him. Patterson runs into him, and then a 3rd car did. I think out of turn 4, it just... Yeah.
Oh, he tagged the wall.
Yeah, but you'll see, I thought the engine let go at the same time he hit the wall, but...
Question is, who hits pit road now? And, of course...
Looks like no one.
Top half of the field do stay out. But from 16th on back, everybody's on in. So now... We're going to regroup the... Oh, man. Go ahead.
If I'm Hunter, that's the last thing I wanted to see, because you know there's going to be contact on the restart. And any contact is going to send him over that 17x limit for a drive-through. So I think if Hunter, even though he wasn't going to win, I think the 12 definitely would have wanted that to go green at the end. Because now Hunter now is pretty much at the mercy of everybody around him to not run into him and send him over the limit. And being at the mercy of other drivers is not a position you want to be in, especially this late in a race at a track like Martinsville. We should probably go through the field and see where everybody sits on incidents, because I'm sure Hunter is not the only one teetering on the edge of a penalty.
Yeah, so, incident-wise, we see Blaze with 0x, no surprise. Omar has a 12x, Hunter has 16, Dylan has 8, Rosero has 4. Cole has 12. William has 12. Latham with 16 as well. Garrett Hess with 14. Noah Allison with 15. Dominic Howe with 16. Malachi Drake with 8. Kevin White with 16. Berge with 16. Patterson with 20. So he's going to have to serve some type of penalty or get it appealed.
He may have already.
Yeah, he may have already, so...
He may have just picked that up on that last contact there with Grayson. But what that goes to show you is there are quite a few people in this field that are literally one bit of contact away from having to serve a penalty of some kind, whether it's drive-through or even getting disqualified. So there's a lot of guys that have to be careful in how they approach these last 2 laps. But you mentioned Blaze Brinkley with 0x. I mean, you know, he's not running for points, but a reminder that, you know, if you finish a race with a 0x, that's a bonus point that's up for grabs. But the pace lights are off. So we'll get ready to go here for green-white checkered number 1. If they wreck before the white flag, we'll line them up and do it again. If they make it to the white and then they wreck, it doesn't matter. They're just racing back for the win. So it'll be Blaze Brinkley and Omar Diallo, the front row sitters for the race, will lead us there in the opposite order.
Here we go. Diallo going to take a wide arc, and that opens up the door for Hunter.
Ring, ring, ring.
Easy shot to
There he
second
goes.
place and drags
Look at
Rosero with him.
Yeah, Rosero's going to have a shot on Diallo here, and that is for third. Diallo goes way up the hill into turn 1. Hunter's on the back bumper of Brinkley still, but I don't know if he can get there.
We'll have one last shot to maybe make something happen. Brinkley washes up the corner. Hunter's there.
White flag.
White flag is out. One more lap to go. Hunter Johnson is knocking on the door of that 98. He works to the high side of them.
Trying to get everything, trying to get any possible run, but he gets loose out of 2, and I think that's going to do it. Basin gets really loose out of 2 as well. And here comes Diallo, shoves himself into third underneath Rosero, and out of turn 4, Blaze Brinkley puts an absolute clinic on and will win tonight at Martinsville as they wreck across the line.
Oh, man, that was interesting for those final 2 laps. I think if Hunter didn't get loose off of turn number 2, he would have had a shot to that number 98. But the question is, what could Hunter do even coming into 3 and 4 after all his incident penalties and such like that? So there's going to be a lot of situating that's going to have to be sorted out, unfortunately, because a bunch of people got incidents across the wire. But for Blaze Brinkley, though, first ever iSCAR win, and he'll burn it down on the front straightaway.
And a very interesting race tonight at Martinsville, but it ends with the dominant car of the night taking the checkered flag here. So we'll get the unofficial results here after 200 plus laps at Martinsville. Blaze Brinkley started in second and wins here tonight. Hunter Johnson goes from winning the LCQ to finishing runner-up. Omar Diallo won last night and won the pole. He'll settle for third. Michael Rosero, great run for him in fourth. William Schmidt rebounds for a nice top 5 run. And then rounding out your top 10, Dylan Basin, Cole Williams, Latham Joyner, Garrett Hess, and Dominic Howe.
Kevin White Jr., Noah Allison, Joe Berge, Malachi Drake, Josh Patterson round out the top 15. Brody Gardner, Casey Drake, Justin Johnson, Max Urick, and Peter Kenny round out the rest of the top 20.
Aaron Brown, 21st. Paul Granado, the last car on the lead lap, in 22nd. Henry Tabor, Brandon Lightis, Corey Lund, the next 3 on the grid. Christopher Weil ends up 26th after falling out earlier in the race. And Henry Clappert, Liam Sheen, Brayson Collins, and Harry Grindle round out your top 30.
Poindexter, McKee, Frimpong, Wilkinson, Sertage, Midge, Bachman, Beyer, Connor, Teeter round out the top 40. The rest of the order is going to be shown on your screen with Patrick, Connor, and Bridger rounding out the rest of the order. We'll be right back right after this for this Martinsville 200. Of course, coming in with post-race interviews here momentarily.
Racetrack, he has been absolutely second to none in 1987.
Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win, his 4th win of 1987 out of 6 Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
Everyone's wondering what can stop Dale Earnhardt. He's on a roll, 4 wins and 6 starts. I mean, is there anybody can handle you?
There may be a little more here underneath the sheet metal.
Well, I'm sure this afternoon we'll know a lot more, and we've got 500 miles to run. We'll see what happens.
Good luck today.
A magnificent 19th annual $500,000 Talladega 500 is won by Dawsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott, and the siren is beginning to ring. You'll probably hear it in Dahlonega. Bill Elliott has won. Davey Allison second.
Elliott now getting a challenge from Tim Richmond, but he closes again right in behind Earnhardt, coming down off turn 4. And Earnhardt loses it, goes on the grass, comes back, and Elliott goes inside. And Earnhardt still got the lead. Incredible. Decent driving by Earnhardt. 7 laps to go. Earnhardt went on the grass.
Dale Earnhardt is reminding Mr. Elliott, you made one mess up like that, and I might get through.
When you come to North Wilkesboro on a short racetrack, you expect some fender to fender and even some paint trading going on out there. We've seen it already as Brett Bodine gave Jerry Cranmer a nudge in the rear end, and now we're seeing some great competition out there between Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott. We are back at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. And just as the
the field comes all around turn number 4. The sunshine peeks through, helping warm things here. Bill Elliott leads him down. Benny Parsons on the outside. The green flag flies, and the first Union 400 Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead, and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. Oh, here we go. It's just about to go away. They bump coming out of turn 4. Earnhardt gets the lead. We had just heard from our spotters that Neil Martin. Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 in North Wilkesboro.
And we welcome everybody back here live for tonight's post-race coverage here, presented to you by Max Speed TV. We'll go ahead and drag in our winners here in just a moment. But before we do that, what you think about tonight's race?
Well, certainly interesting, but I mean, that 98 that we've got up on the screen there did absolutely everything right, and I believe was the only car to finish with a 0x. So kept his nose clean, kept his nose out front, and kept it out of trouble. And that gives him the absolutely dominating win. And now we'll be able to drag him up here and see what he's got to say about his race here tonight.
That's my ATVO froze, so we're going to have like a standard normalized.
Of course it did.
Yeah, of course it did. So just give me one moment as we progress with, or at least try to progress with this one. But otherwise than that, I'll give you my 2 cents for tonight's race. I'm surprised. We didn't have as many cautions as I thought we would have, and luckily we had some solid green flag stints rather than what we saw in the ARCA race. I'm not sure if you commentated with me with that race, but that race was messy, and as well as the truck race. We haven't ran the Cup Series though, and that's the next thing that. Well,
that's 250 laps.
Yeah, that's 250 laps.
You thought this race was long. Just wait till we get to that one.
Yep, that is right. And we're gonna go ahead and drag into the booth the 112. Oh, Blaze Brinkley into the booth he goes. Blaze, you dominated here for tonight's event. You led 191 laps out of 200. Probably the most dominant person I've ever seen out of a short track race. But man, my goodness. First thoughts.
Yeah, I have 2 drivers, Latham Joyner and Mark Firmpong. They told me they were racing at Martinsville tonight, and I was like, I'll hop in there, go have some fun at least. And qualified second to Omar, passed him, just took the lead. I mean, just had a good night. I've never had a race go that smooth where everything just kind of worked out. And the only laps I didn't lead, I think, were like the first 2 or 3, and then in the middle of pit cycles, so.
Yeah, that's right. But that final restart was fairly interesting. Hunter Johnson got to the bumper of you, and luckily you had enough to fend him out. What was going through your mind there during those final 2 laps?
I kept locking the front brakes up. I don't know why. If it was just cold tires or what, but it'd just get free in, and I'd get so tight from locking them up. That was kind of on me, though. I let him get closer than I wanted to, but still kept the win.
That's all right. Luckily, you had a gap between yourself and that number 12 to pick up the W here for tonight. Congratulations, bud, for that whole entire team. And before we let you go, any much you want to thank here for tonight?
JH Graphic Designs. He always keeps me looking pretty good. He was spotting for me tonight, so big thanks to him.
All right, bud. 10-4, Blaze Brinkley, and that number 98/112 here for tonight. We'll round himself out in victory lane after starting himself all the way in second place. We'll go ahead and see you coming in next race, bud.
Thank you.
Scoot ourselves back one spot to Hunter Johnson and that number 12.
All right, Hunter, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you found yourself in a fairly unfamiliar place by having to work your way through the LCQ, but you managed to win that, and then got yourself through the field to finish in second. We know you had some incident limit issues throughout the race, and how much of a hindrance was that as you tried to battle Blaze for the win?
Yeah, that was definitely like I was kind of questioning whether I should just take second or go for the win. I decided that like I would try to go for it, maybe try to pressure him into making a mistake, but I just didn't really have the tires to do it. I couldn't make anything stick on corner entry, and it was so loose on corner exit that it just would have been really hard to do anything without making contact. So overall, I think for how it started, I think that was a pretty solid result. I didn't get a lot of practice time, and I was having some issues with my brakes beginning of practice and early in the LCQ. So I kind of got used to that and then was able to adjust. I think I was having problems with that when I got into, I believe it was Patrick on one of the first cautions that put me a lap down. So I was able to come back from that, and yeah, I guess could have been a lot worse, so I'll take it.
Yeah, and it's a good finish for you in the points as well, of course. Came into tonight 12th in the points and around the bubble there with Casey Drake and a couple other cars. So this definitely helps you there in the points department. But what are you going to have to do over these next couple weeks to make sure you stay in the chase and not fall out for any reason?
I think just run consistently. I mean, there's not so much pressure on, trying to get up front and win races as there was before. So now I can just kind of be content with a top 5 or top 10, and if I feel like I have the speed, then try to pressure to make moves and all that. So yeah, and I feel like this series is just kind of the one thing I have checked off out of maybe the 3 or 4 I have for some of the other series that we're running. So this is pretty much one down, and then of course I'm still behind in the cup, and I think I might be eliminated from trucks now. So just want to try to put my best foot forward starting in the late models coming up. So that's definitely on my mind in the coming week.
Yeah, and again in the points definitely helps tonight in terms of trying to make the chase there, even if you don't in the other ones. But before you go tonight, any sponsors or people you want to thank here for tonight's race?
I just got to thank you guys, Dewey, and of course Zeke, for putting on the broadcast, MaxB TV, and yeah.
All right, Hunter Johnson, runner-up here tonight here at Martinsville. Hope to see you back here for the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
And we'll go ahead and drag in that number 1 machine of Omar Diallo, who had a nice send there on that final lap and picks up 3rd position. Either way, Omar, you got a copy?
Yeah.
Omar, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Seems as though you just didn't have the pace here for tonight. The damage just halter you there for the whole entire race?
Yeah, man. I think I had a little right front damage. It was making me a little tight on the suspension. It was really hard to get up the Blaze, man. He had a piece today.
Yeah, and as well as that last restart with you and Hunter Johnson basically sealed the deal for you not taking up the win here, unfortunate. But regardless, that 3rd place run, not to be disappointed of, you started yourself all the way on top of the pole. So how was the car out there tonight?
It was really good. Short run wasn't our best, but long run we had him covered. We just always starting too far back, man. On that last restart, man, I threw it in on Rosero and hoped it sticked, and it stuck.
And it brought you a 3rd place here tonight. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish here after leading 12 laps of the whole entire race. Before I let you go, though, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
Just want to thank Basin Racing, Dylan Basin, for giving me this opportunity. Follow my Twitch, Omar Diallo _ farmersonly.com, Interstate, all the guys back at the shop. It's just a really cool thing we got to do here today with the throwbacks. I hope we're back for the next race and we win it.
All right, but 10-4, that number 1 of Omar Diallo rounds himself out in third. We'll go ahead and see you coming in next race, bud.
All right, man.
Oh, oops. And that will be it here for top 3 interviews for tonight's event. Congratulations to that number 112 of Blaze Brinkley, picking up his first ever iSCAR win here tonight after a dominating race from start to finish. But before we let go for tonight's broadcast, any last second things you want to say, Dewey?
Well, got our next week of races coming up here, and it's a really good one here for you guys. The Chuck Anderson Ford Super Late Model Tour returns for season number 2 or 3, one of them, but it will be at Irwindale, and that's going to be a great show for that series to finally come back again. And then the week that we've all been waiting for, it's Dega Week this week. The trucks, the Cup cars, and the Xfinity cars will all be going down to Talladega Super Speedway here this weekend after the Super Late models. So be sure to definitely be tuned in for those 3 races. And with that, for Ezeckiel Reyes, I am Dewey Schramm. Thank you very much for watching here at Martinsville, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday night.